Hello everyone. Well, Apple has done it again. There's a new game on Apple Arcade called Sonic Dream Team that has not been released yet. It releases December 5th, 2023. That is garnishing a lot of hate. And the reason it's garnishing a lot of hate is because it's exclusively, currently, at this moment, it is exclusive to Apple Arcade. Meaning people do not like it because, based on their trailers, it looks like a fun console-esque style game to play. It has a lot of characters, but people just don't like it because it's by Apple. And I feel like the reason why people don't like Apple is because, yeah, they could be very pretentious in how they deliver their products. Like it's, oh, the best thing ever, you know? Everybody does that to an extent to sell a product. It doesn't make it right. And I do kind of wish they wouldn't do that in the future. And, just be honest with people, because I know that's why a lot of people are pissed off at them, because they make it sound like their iPhones or MacBooks are the greatest thing in the world when other tech people probably have a lot better. But it's a marketing strategy. And unfortunately, that's what you have to do when you're trying to sell a product. You have to make it appeal to the masses. But anyway, this specific game, is garnishing a lot of hate because, Apple, and people don't like Apple, so automatically people don't like this game, even though it looks like a fun game. And I can understand why people hate Apple because of the exclusivity, because it's mobile in general looked as an inferior product when compared to PCs and consoles. And also it's the fact that this game is not coming to Android, which also makes the Android people mad too, because they want this game on Android and consoles and PCs. So you can understand why a lot of people would be pissed off that this is only exclusive to Apple, right? Right. Because I am. Even though I have an iPhone and an iPad. I mean, I'm not that sour about it just because I have, Apple products, but I understand why people would be mad, because half of the users have Android phones, and this will make them mad. And not everyone, because not everyone has iPhones, but it's like iPhones and Androids have been around for 16 years, so I'm pretty sure even if you live outside the US, I'm pretty sure you could at least find a cheap iPhone, buy a cheap iPhone that can play this game, because this game doesn't really seem to be that hard to run, especially when there's more games that have better graphics like Resident Evil Village that can run an iPhone. Apple Arcade games are not usually intensive games. They're made for everyone to play. So even the weakest iPhone will be able to play this game. They're meant for enjoyment. Like Nintendo. How every game on there is meant to be played by everyone. They're not like Sony. They don't prioritize graphics. So I can understand why people are mad. But if Apple has been around for 16 years, then I'm pretty sure in those 16 years of iPhones, you guys can at least find some type of Apple project to play this on, because it's not just only available for iPhones. It's also on iPads, MacBooks, and the Apple TV. If you don't want to play on iPhones, you can play on basically anything else that you own that's made by Apple. The good thing about having these games on phones is that they're not just solely made for gaming. You know, like how a console is? They're made to be an all-in-one product. So they can be used for gaming, they can be used for editing, whatever you need. They just have one more step to include for gaming. And that's good and bad. But that's a topic for another conversation. So the exclusivity point is fair just because if you all want this game removed from Apple, then it's entirely possible that this game is going to be removed, period, from anything. Because Apple itself made Apple Arcade. They're funding all the games to be on Apple Arcade. So in a way, this game was made by Apple. And there's nothing really wrong with that as far as the exclusivity goes, because you could just buy a cheap iPhone and then an Android and then have the best of both worlds, you know? Games that come out on Android, play that. Games that come out on iPhone, play that. Honestly, I think this whole exclusivity thing argument is kind of ridiculous just because, yeah, Apple's Apple. They get exclusive games. Android gets exclusive games too. Sometimes their exclusive games don't come to Apple or any other console. Sometimes console or PC games don't come to consoles or PCs. And some PCs games have never come to consoles or anywhere else, like Company of Heroes. It's only available on PCs and iOS. And that's never coming to consoles. Exclusivity is a packaged product because it promotes growth of a system. And without exclusive games, then nobody will want to buy that product. So this is all a marketing strategy. Apple knows what it's doing. It wants to cultivate a gaming platform on its iPhones via Apple Arcade because it's tired of people mocking its products for not being gaming machines when it can obviously play games. Maybe not current games. It can't play current games. But it can play PS4 games and PS2 games and PS1 games and all that. And also, this is especially better for Android because people aren't going to take Android as a joke system either like they do Apple, because if they do Apple like this, they mock Android just as hard as they do Apple. Let's be honest. Mobile gaming, they mock mobile gaming bad. So it doesn't matter if it's Android or Apple. The users there reportedly on Android like to pirate every game. So that's why people say that Androids can't game, because the users pirate the games. But that's the point. If this is good for Apple, then imagine how good exclusivity could be for Android, because now developers are going to realize that, hey, Android can be just as powerful as Apple in gaming, because now they have an example to follow from Apple, because Apple is making a good game that is very profitable, like Fantasia was. And Fantasia, even though many people wanted to kick that game out of Apple's platform and remove it entirely, that game is still on Apple's platform exclusively on Apple Arcade, even after 2 years since it was launched in 2021. Anyway, I'm done talking, and I'm very excited to play this game, even though it's exclusive, because exclusivity is not bad. And this reminds me of playing Sonic Heroes on consoles with the color scheme and everything. So I am going to be playing this game on Twitch when it releases, and maybe YouTube also. I hope you all enjoyed, and please give me your feedback about what you thought about this commentary or even about the game in general, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.